Hello everyone, today I'll be presenting the brand book for my capstone project, The Truth in Our Lives. The project is a visually storytelling experience that reimagines Saudi folklore through illustration, environmental storytelling, and interactive media. The project includes a book, interactive elements, and game-related visuals, all connected throughout one consistent brand identity. The main idea behind the project is that many childhood stories and warnings were never fully explained to us growing up. Things like shadows, sounds in stairwells, or warning from older family members often felt like mysterious as children. Instead of focusing on horror, the project focuses more on atmosphere, memory, emotion, and interpretation. The goal was to create something that feels culturally familiar while still allowing the audience to form their own understanding of the story. Starting with the brand overview, the positioning statement describes the project as visually storytelling brand that blends subtle mystery with cultural familiarity in order to engage a new generation. The mission of the project is to create engaging visual and interactive stories that reinterpret childhood folklore in a way that feels accessible and meaningful to younger audiences. The target audience is mainly preteens and above, especially readers and players who enjoy narrative-driven experiences and atmospheric storytelling. I wanted the project to feel mature enough to be emotionally engaging while still keeping some sense of curiosity and wonder. As the tone of voice is initially quiet, reflective, and slightly ambiguous, instead of directly explaining every detail, the project leaves room for interpretation. This matches the way many childhood stories felt growing up, where people remember feeling the moments were then exact explanation. The main keywords that guided the project were mysterious, nostalgic, and playful and cultural. The brand story explains how the project explored childhood memories, not as fact, but as feelings. Different people remember story differently, and that shifting perspective became one of the core themes of the project. Through both the book and the game, the audience revisits these emotional moments again from a more atmospheric perspective. Moving on to the visual identity system, one of the first things I developed was the logo. The project originally had a different title, Shadows and Whisper, but later evolved into The Truth of Our Lives. I felt the new title was better representing the project's focus on perspective, uncertainty, and memory, while keeping that spirit alive of what I wanted the story to represent. The logo itself was designed to feel inspired by old story books and folklore, while still remaining readable and modern. Decorative framing elements were added to give the identity a more atmospheric, slightly theatrical feeling, almost like an opening an old book. I also created the primary and secondary logo variations for flexibility across different applications. The primary version is more decorative and detailed, while the second one is more practical uses. The brand book also includes rules like clear spacing, minimum sizes, incorrect usages to maintain consistency across all applications. For the color system, I used a palette inspired by nighttime environments, warm interior lighting, and rooftops, shadows, and old storytelling atmospheres. The darker blues and the muted browns help create a mystery and tension, while the warmer beige and orange tones balance the visual emotionally, so the project feels a little nostalgic and like human rather than purely dark and frightening. As for the typography, was also played an important role in the building, the atmosphere, and the brand. I selected the fonts that feel elegant and slightly vintage to support that folklore-inspired aesthetic. At the same time, readability was still important because the project contains both storytelling and information Arabic. So I wanted the Arabic typography to also include that help in reinforcing the cultural identity. For the graphic elements, I wanted them to be something that is like decorative, but also go out throughout the project to make it feel consistent and kind of showcase those small elements of is it nighttime, is it morning, is it sundown. So those little elements were used throughout the game and the book. As the process spreads section shows part of the development stage of the illustrations. This includes rough sketches and layout planning, and composition exploration and before the final illustrations were completed and the final rendering. I wanted to show that the environments and the scenes were carefully planned to create emotional atmosphere and visual storytelling rather than just decorative images. The final book spreads focus heavily on environmental storytelling. Many scenes are inspired by familiar spaces such as rooftops, courtyards, alleyways, and just gatherings altogether. The dim interior and the spaces, instead of relying on direct horror visuals, the illustration focused more on lighting and silence and composition and the subtle tension. As for the character and textile section, I carefully considered clothing design, fabrics, and silhouettes for each character. So I wanted a page that was dedicated for that, where it talked about each character and their personality, like I'm the author and talking with them. So the reader feels like they're connected to the character, and as well as the textiles, where each one is from a different region that reflects their personality. I compiled a UI style guide and key screens for the game as the AR-related experience. The interface design was intentionally minimal, so the focus remains on the atmosphere and the storytelling rather than the complex machines. So I wanted it to just showcase it. And as for the AR, I wanted it to be more of a connection point between the game and the book, so it doesn't feel disconnected. And that was the reason it was serving its purpose. As you can see, it was just like a very simple animation showcasing the book and how the movement is, and then it showcases like part of the atmospheres as book in a 3D kind of model design. And then you go into the game and you see everything there, and it extends your story beyond the book. As for the printing finishing, I wanted the brand to stay consistent even if it goes to someone else. It has to be very consistent with the paper weighing, the paper type, the cover material, and the finishing. This is the layout system and just the bleed and everything that you should be careful with. And the stationery is basically the brand all throughout the book, the bookmarks, and then the interactive brochure. The interactive brochure is supposed to reflect the story and reflect that kind of movement and interactive. So as you open it and close it, it shows you the cover of the book. As for the author's note, I wanted something that connects the audience to me and to the message that I am trying to convey. This is the brand on social media, and this is the banners and the promotional banners of the brand. As the bonus content, I wanted to showcase my booth that brought the brand all together. It was handmade, and I wanted it to reflect the brand all together. Thank you.